Giant Sports Talk and Entertainment. We went a little old school today, because that's what I am. I'm the OG of New York Giants content creators, and damn proud of it. Want to talk about a couple things today, because we are now 17 days away from the start of training camp. 17 days. Just reminds me of the scenes from Aliens. How long till we can expect a rescue? 17 days. Well, we got, you know what? We don't need a rescue. We need a rescue from some of the pompousness that I see sports writers doling out to the Giants. I get a little frustrated also with certain parts of the fan base, because if you want to chat about Daniel Jones, that's great. If you believe Daniel Jones is still the guy, that's wonderful. But if you keep using the Tampa game as his rookie season as the reason why he is going to be a quarterback for the New York Giants for the future, that's bad logic. Can't use a game 3 years ago and say, well, that's the reason why. Jeff George had multiple good one games. Rick Meyer had multiple good one games. Hell, Cade McNown had one or two good games in a pedestrian career. It doesn't mean anything. Stop that nonsense. I want to talk about an NFL coach. And I saw the article. NFL coach shreds Saquon Barkley, says he doesn't know how to play running back. Da, da, da. All right, a few years ago when this kid came out, Offensive Rookie of the Year, led the league in total yards from scrimmage at 2,028. Injuries is what derailed this kid's career. Somewhat inconsistency at sometimes has derailed his career. I love how they say that he was uninspiring. He struggles to stay healthy, and his reputation as one of the top backs in the game has taken a major hit and result. You know what the problem is? When you're injured and you can't get on the field, and when you're coming back from an injury, yeah, that happens. Nowhere, they say, is that apparent in the ESPN ranking of the top 10 running backs heading to 2022. Barkley only made the list as an honorable mention, and one anonymous. I always love when it's anonymous, coach. When I say shit, I say it, and I will say it to your face. None of this, I hate this anonymous crap. Who's quoted from the piece, absolutely shredded the Barkley's game, they said. His thing was, here's what the ESPN wrote about Barkley. I'm going to read exactly what they wrote. Barkley was number one on this list 2 years ago, but his decline has been precipitous. Injuries have cost him 22 games over 4 years, but that's hardly the only issue in his game. In 2021, which he came back from a major injury, he produced just 593 yards, 2 touchdowns on 163 carries. I'm down on him. He still doesn't know how to play running back enough. A veteran offensive coach says he's a bouncer. He wants every run to be a home run. He's going to have to learn that a 4-yard run in the league is good instead of stopping, cutting it back, and losing 2. He gets his ass kicked in protection. Barry Sanders would lose 7 yards at times to gain 2 yards. Barry Sanders ran backwards multitudes of times, and I'm not comparing Saquon Barkley to Barry Sanders. I'm not saying he's Barry Sanders. But Barry Sanders would run left, he would run right, he would bounce around, he would do everything that he needed to do to try to keep the play extended and make something happen. I agree to a point that the dancing at times has to stop. Shermer even came out back in the 18 season and said to Barkley after his first 6 weeks, you need to hit the hole. You need to hit the hole, put your head in the pile and see what happens. Not always trying to bounce it outside, not always trying to do the spin move, just hit it. Hit it hard and see what happens.
That's what she said.
Sorry, I had to find the button.
That's what she said.
But that's what it is. That's just what it is. His style of running has probably formed since Pop Warner. His style has served him well through high school, through college, and at times in the first 2 years of his pro career. People forget, even with the injuries and even with the bad offensive line and even with the rookie quarterback, he still ran for over 1,000 yards that second season. And I love it because of the fact that I was thinking about it the other day, and I was thinking about Reggie Bush. Are these two guys clones? And I'm going to say no, because Reggie Bush was like 6 feet, 200 something, like 203. He was a dancer. And when he came into the league over into the Saints after Mario Williams went number 1 overall, I'm not sure the Saints exactly knew how to use him that first year. Didn't know how to use him the first 3 or 4 years in his career. Was he an every down back? Was he a third down back? Was he a guy that could return punts? Was he a guy that could do these things that could make a difference in a game? He struggled his first year. I think it was like week 9 or 10 or something like that before he scored his first touchdown in the NFL. He still won a Super Bowl with the Saints. But you never knew no one knew exactly what to do with him. He went over to Miami, and Miami kind of figured it out for Reggie. They gave him the ball more. They gave him more opportunities to move forward. They came out at times and said that he is going to be the bell cow. He is going to be the guy that's going to run the ball. He ran the ball 216 times, 227, 223 in 3 years respectively. Almost ran for 1,000 yards in 3 straight seasons. In the 2012 season, he only ran for 986 yards. But he played in 15 games, 16 games, and 14 games. And he ran for 1,086, and then in 2013 ran for 1,006. They made him an every down featured back. Now, Saquon has much larger size than Reggie Bush does. He's a bigger guy. He is a guy in all retrospect should have more durability at 5'11", 226 pounds. He's got the quads of steel because we all know when you build up a body part and the fan base gets a hold of it, that's what's going to make you a superstar. Daniel Jones, 2 years in a row, gained 11 pounds of muscle. That's 22 pounds of muscle in 2 years for something like 22 touchdowns. But you know what? They made him a featured back. Now, Saquon's already a featured back. The only thing that's similar to these two is their running styles. And I have to admit, when it took Reggie till 2011, when he was 26 years old, to figure out not to be the ballerina, not to be this guy dancing all the time, to hit the hole, to attack. And that's what he did. Hell, he even did it in Detroit. I'm sorry, it was 2 years he did it in Miami. He almost ran for 1,000 yards. That third year in 2013 was in Detroit. I had to think about that for a second. But he even did it in Detroit. Put your head down, run it into the pile, and good things will happen. His rushing average, or rushing yards per attempt in those 3 years were 4.3, 4.5. And he was still catching the ball out of the backfield. These are all things that Saquon Barkley can do. And I honestly think these are all things that Saquon Barkley can do and do better than Reggie Bush did. That he can work this out. That he can figure it out, that he can move forward and be bold, and mighty things will come to his aid. He's a bad man.
Make the bad man stop.
The bad man will never stop. I even have baby Saquon sitting here right next to me saying that he's going to rush for over 1,000 yards this season. Health is going to be the determining factor for Saquon Barkley. And I love it because for all the people that are in love with Daniel Jones and make excuses for Daniel Jones about the offensive line, the poor offensive coordinator, the poor head coaching, these are all factors that you can relate over to Saquon Barkley. But for some reason, we don't do that. Why, dear Lord? Tell me why. Why is one kid the Messiah and another kid who has actually had success in 2 years as the first part of his career is a pariah because of the fact that we don't like the way he runs the ball? I'm telling you right now, if Saquon Barkley stays healthy, if the offensive line, and again, I said it last year, the Giants we're a team of ifs. This year, we're a team of if pluses. Because if Daniel Jones can become an average NFL quarterback, if the offensive line can hold up, if we find out that Brian Daboll and Kafka are not retrospectively linked to Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes and they can have their own career thoughts, if we figure out a way to move the ball forward, Saquon Barkley will have another season. I'm not going to say as comparable to that rookie year, but he will have another season where he shows his wares. He's not going to be an Archie Griffin, who won 2 back-to-back Heismans and flamed out in the NFL. He is not going to be one of those guys. He's not going to be like a Kajana Carter who came in from Penn State and, of course, ripped up his knee and got hurt. He's not going to be a Blair Thomas. He's not going to – I could rattle off 1,000 running backs who had all this hype around them but never succeeded. He is not going to be that guy. And for the people that and you know what? I always hate it. Don't anonymously say it. If you want to say it, say it. Say it, say it, say it. Don't anonymously say it. Man up and speak your mind. Say your words. You have the platform. You have the power with your words or your actions or your channel or your social media page to make a difference in reference to extolling the proper facts. Not only in reference to the Giants, but also in reference to the NFL. So do your due diligence. Don't sit there and say a guy who has been injured, who came off a major knee injury and had a so-so season, and everyone will tell you, and anyone has had an ACL injury, and I've had two, it takes at least a year to come back before you reach your form. Oh, we still got a lot of big news coming up. Hopefully next Wednesday we're going to have a live stream with a big announcement for the August 21st preseason game. We have a contingency crew going out there. It's going to be me. It's going to be OGR Sports. It's going to be James Williams, maybe a couple other people. Haven't decided yet, but those are the two that we have locked in right now. We got a new 312-in-1 podcast coming up today with OGR Sports. It'll be out on Thursday. And again, this is Tim with the Online Big Blue. We'll bring you the best in New York Giants sports talk and entertainment. And as always, if you could like, if you subscribe, if you can ring that bell, you know what that means? That'd be awesome.